Here's the thing about stranger men on the internet calling me ugly because I'm speaking up and out about the experiences of women all over the world. The right for women to choose to be single if they so wish to be. The thing about it is that it further just confirms my thoughts about men who lack intelligence. Some of this is just willful ignorance, because if you actually listen to any of my videos, any of them, okay, you will find that I am relying on actual qualitative data and quantitative data research and evidence. And unfortunately for the system of men, patriarchy, the evidence is screaming. In every language, the evidence is clear. The evidence is clear about the oppression that women are experiencing. And the thing that we really need to get clear on here is that these types of men, all they have are these lazy, predictable kickbacks, which is that you're ugly. But here's how I see it also. I think there's an advantage to that. Now, I'm not saying that I am ugly. I'm not being self-deprecating. What I am saying is I'm well aware that I do not meet mainstream beauty standards. I'm well aware, especially if you are a woman of color, a black woman even, that I don't meet those standards either. And I'm okay with that. And it actually gives me a bit of an advantage, because what is there for me to lose? If I stay silent, they'll still call me ugly. If I speak up and out, they'll still call me ugly. I'm okay either way. The conviction, the clarity I have around women having the right to choose whether or not they partner, I am not going to fall back. I am not going to stop talking about this. And I am not going to stop observing and commenting on trends, patterns, evidence, and data that clearly shows that women are not thriving. And when I say women, I'm talking holistically. Across the board, women are not thriving in these types of partnerships. Period. The other thing I really need to express here, because it drives me insane how narrow-minded people can be. I am a black British woman. I speak English. I have been educated. I'm able-bodied. I have a lot of privilege. I'm sitting in New York. Okay, I moved from the UK to New York by myself because I could, because I had the resources. I have privilege. Right now in 2025, right now as we speak, there are women in parts of the world who don't have those privileges. Whilst it's all fun and games, we can talk about dating, because a lot of the men in my comments want to talk about the fact that they spend more money in dating. That is immaterial. Genuinely, it's trivial. Because there are women in parts of the world in 2025 for whom marriage is a survival strategy. It is a survival necessity. That marriage is harmful to them. Period. If you only Google child marriages right now happening around the world, right now, even in the US, in fact, there are states where this is still allowed. So I don't care if you think I'm ugly. I don't care if you think there is not a demand for my services amongst men, because I do not live my life. And this is what I know irritates these men, because I've had male friends just like you. It gets on your nerves. It gets on your nerves that I am not living in a constant rehearsal or audition for your approval, for your validation, for your acceptance. I don't care about whether or not you're attracted to me or not. Don't care. Because what you're used to is women cowering, shrinking, falling back, feeling as though they can't have a voice. You're used to women wanting to be accepted by any man so badly that she will not speak up about what she's seen. That's what you're counting on. But guess what? I'm not that woman. I am not that woman. I do not care whether a random stranger man wants to have sex with me. No, I will not stay silent.
I debated whether or not I wanted to post about this conversation topic, because I feel like not only is it a touchy subject, but it's quite jarring, the response that this topic has been getting. People, specifically women, coming online to acknowledge the fact that by society they are deemed as ugly, and you guys are coming on here being like, well, I don't think any woman should call themselves like, are you guys okay? It's giving dense. More importantly, it's giving willfully dense. Because my thing is that we come on this here internet every other day to talk about pretty privilege in every way, shape, or form. In every way, shape, or form. We just had a conversation about the Victoria's Secret models not having, their bodies aren't unrealistic enough, right? Right? We have look maxers. All of this stuff about how to be pretty, how to do this, so that you too can benefit from pretty privilege, or whatever the case may be, right? We talk about it all the freaking time, so much so it makes I'm over it. I'm over it. Yet the minute that women come on here, coming from the other side, right, to share their stories, to talk about the reality that a lot of women face, a lot of people face. Y'all want to see her, I don't think any woman should be calling themselves. What is wrong with y'all? It's giving dense. It's giving willfully dense. Because what do you expect someone to do? To sit here and pretend like the way that we aren't treated by society isn't like a really, really important part of our, life experience is ridiculous. And if someone is coming on this here internet to let y'all know that by society they're treated as ugly, and y'all sitting here talking about well, everyone is beautiful, you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. And sometimes I think it's best to not talk, and to not speak, and to listen, and to let these people share their truths, share their perspective. Because we see enough perspective from pretty people all the freaking time. Or people who want to be pretty, or looks maxers, or everybody else in between. We see enough of their perspective. But the second someone coming from a different perspective opens their mouth and shares the reality of what it's like living their life, being them, all of a sudden, now we shouldn't talk about it. Now it's a touchy subject. Now no woman should come on this here internet to call themselves ugly. It's giving dense. It's giving dense. It really is.
Women coming on here and talking about what it's like when society has deemed you as ugly, only to get the response of like, no, I don't think you're ugly. Like, you shouldn't call yourself that. And like, you're like actually really pretty. I think that we as a society are very uncomfortable when the topic centers around ugliness. This world has set up an ugly-pretty dichotomy, and we only ever want to hear from the people that we understand to be ugly when they are talking about prettiness. This is why we can talk about pretty privilege and unrealistic body standards in media all the time, and it doesn't cause this level of backlash. People viewed as ugly are otherized in our society, and when I say otherized, I mean that in a very existential way, in that we do not consider their subjecthood. We conceive of ugly people as existing only in relation to pretty people, and we expect that that relation is jealousy. So to hear ugly people expressing valid grievances about prettiness does not nearly upset our social understanding of how ugly should act as ugliness, talking about what it is to actually experience being ugly. Whether or not you think or are willing to say that someone is ugly has absolutely no bearing on the fact that they have experienced being ugly in this society. And the only reason you feel that that is necessary to bring up is because you desperately do not want us to have a conversation about ugliness from the mouths of people who are primarily affected by it. A conversation that is absolutely necessary if we actually want to dismantle the system of hierarchy that has been created, rather than just simply increasing the amount of people that are included in the privileged sphere.
Women calling themselves ugly on TikTok is upsetting a lot of y'all. And it's just so funny how y'all don't have a problem with calling women ugly when you don't like them. But when a woman come online and she tell her truth about being an unconventionally attractive woman, all of a sudden, now you got an issue with somebody referring to themselves as ugly. I just seen a lot of y'all say that these women are fishing for compliments and, they just looking for attention. No, some people actually are just self-aware. It's only y'all who go around lying to yourself and making yourself think that you look better than you actually do. But some people actually tell the truth about the life that they live on a day-to-day basis. They understand that they are not conventionally attractive, and they understand how society treats them by them not being conventionally attractive. A lot of y'all know that you don't get treated well either, right? You just in denial and you lie to yourself. But you know that you don't fit what society considers as attractive either. And you know that people treat you a certain way when you don't. But instead of hearing these people out, What you do is try to invalidate what they saying in their videos. You come into their comment section telling them, oh, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, all you need to do is X, Y, Z. They didn't ask you what they needed to do. They didn't ask you for no suggestions. They didn't ask you for compliments. All they asked you to do was simply listen to them tell their truth about what they experience on a day-to-day basis. Sitting up and telling somebody that they don't go through what they go through is disrespectful, especially when they vulnerable enough to come to the internet and tell you what they going through and how they feel about it. And you sitting up in the comment section gaslighting them and making them think that they crazy when they know how life is for them on a day-to-day basis. A lot of y'all are so ignorant that you truly think you doing them a favor by coming into their comment section and lying. And like I said, the easiest way to know when y'all lying about saying that somebody look good or they beautiful or they pretty when you truly don't believe it is to call you they twin. Tell you that you look like them. Ask you simply, would you trade places with them? Because majority of the time the answer is going to be no. Right? But you'll sit up and lie and gaslight them in the comment section to tell them that what they going through ain't really what they going through, even though they know the life that they live. Everybody is not conventionally attractive. And y'all know that. You know how I know you know that? Because you don't have no problem identifying an ugly man. Right? You don't have any problem identifying a woman who you don't like being ugly. You don't have any problem. You don't have an issue pointing out what's wrong with certain women. You don't have an issue pointing out flaws you see in other women. You don't have an issue identifying ugly until it's not convenient for you to do it. Until you get on your high horse and thinking that you're a good person by telling somebody that they not what they know they are. Being unattractive, being unconventionally attractive is not the end of the world. Right? But we are not going to sit up and act like life is not different for somebody who is. And that people don't treat people differently when they are not conventionally attractive. And that's all these people are trying to say.
This is going to be a controversial opinion, but I actually believe it's harder to be an unattractive woman than it is to be an unattractive man. You literally see unattractive men with very attractive, jaw-dropping women all the time. Why? Because women do not care nearly as much about looks as men care about looks. Women will get with a guy because he has a good personality, he's funny, he has character. I mean, just look at the person that Selena Gomez is dating right now. Societally, he's a very unattractive guy, but guess what? He has values outside of his looks that makes him very attractive to a very attractive woman and, other attractive women. But as an unattractive woman, it's just not the same. Men rarely date down, and if they do, it's seen as some unprecedented, amazing, outstanding feat, because men care so much more about physical looks and physical stuff than women do. And let's say, you have the argument where people are like, okay, well, there's always that one guy willing to sleep with an unattractive 2 out of 10 girl. How would you feel if you were a woman, your brain bonds you with whoever you sleep with because of oxytocin, you literally get attached to them. If you had all these guys coming into your life, using you as a fleshlight and leaving just because they were horny for a momentary amount of time, you would feel awful. An unattractive woman may get more men calling her at 3 a.m. trying to hook up with her, more so than an unattractive man would by women, because women have higher standards than men do. But at the end of the day, when it comes to a relationship, an unattractive man is going to have it easy, because women just don't care that much about the physical, whereas men do. That's simply what it is.
I have been set free ever since I saw a couple of videos from this woman talking about how women should dare to be ugly and women don't have to be attractive. It's okay to be ugly. And something that she said that really was hit me. She was like, if I'm around women who are constantly complaining about their appearance, I have the kind part in me wants to reassure them that they're beautiful and yada, yada, yada. But the other side of me wants to be like, okay, so you must be ugly. If you can find everything wrong with you, then maybe you're ugly. And what is wrong with that? And ever since then, I have felt free, which is so crazy to say. And this is a mindset that I should have adopted a long time ago, or not even adopted this mindset, just the fact that I don't have to be attractive. People don't have to find me attractive. I'm about to go on a walk. I'm going to go to the grocery store. People don't have to find me attractive. And specifically men, male validation is so cheap and so available. It's just no need for all the hoopla. I don't have to be attractive. It is okay to be ugly. And although I don't think I'm ugly, but the fact that she was like, if you are constantly complaining about your appearance and you're always finding something wrong with it, maybe you are ugly. And what's the problem with that? And that has been like...
Okay, serious question. What exactly do you guys gain from living your life with your head down? I've seen a lot of comments where that girl was making a video saying, I'm ugly. Does anyone want an ugly girl? A lot of people were in the comments saying, it's good to be realistic. It doesn't get you anywhere being delusional. A lot of us are ugly. A lot of us aren't beautiful. A lot of us don't meet society standards. So we need to accept it and be real with ourselves. What exactly do you gain from living life with your head down, feeling less about yourself, except for mental health issues, depression, and low self-esteem? And everyone is always talking about society, and I don't get that, because you don't encounter the whole world in your lifetime. As adults, you get to foster and create your community. I literally handpick everyone who I'm around as an adult. I handpick everyone I engage with for extended amounts of time as an adult. And when you believe you're not worth anything, you're less than, and you're in a constant state of comparing yourself to the next woman, you won't even take care of yourself. You won't do anything to pour into yourself. You're never going to get your hair done. You won't get dressed up every once in a while. You won't do your makeup. You won't do self-care. You won't do things to pour into yourself because you already believe you've lost the battle and you're not worth anything. I get to pick my life. I have people around me who think I'm gorgeous, who love me to death. Are there people on earth who would think I'm ugly as hell? Yes. But do I engage with them? Am I around them? No. So what's the issue? Like, I really don't get that. I don't get that mindset. What does it really do for you?
Where are the men that like mid-looking black women? Because yes, most black women are drop dead gorgeous, but then there's black women that look like me.
If you truly feel this way about yourself, the last thing you need in your life is a man. Because a narcissist can come in the life of somebody with low self-esteem and destroy their life. The only way you will be able to leave abuse potentially is if you feel like you're too good for the abuse. But if you already feel like you're bottom of the barrel, this is a playground for narcissists. And it is literally dangerous to be trying to date when you feel this way about yourself. I personally believe that everybody is beautiful, and the better you feel about yourself, the better your life is going to be. I don't understand why people are so hooked on trying to get people to believe what society feels about them just so they can walk around with their head down for the rest of their lives. You can do your hair, you can practice skincare, but when you don't love yourself, you won't even feel the need to do that.
When someone's primary problem is I feel ugly and I feel like my ugliness is detrimental to my experience in the world, the answer cannot be no, you're beautiful, or the answer cannot be okay, well, just get hotter. And I would actually say saying no, you're beautiful is far more harmful and like damning than if someone were to say here are the steps to get hotter. But both of them are bad because we, in our society, we love labels and we love bins to put people into bins, right? We know for a fucking fact, I don't know why people always act like we don't have it, but we know for a fact that one of the clearest bins we have in society is pretty and ugly, right? So we can sort so many things to that and it comes up all the time. But when we start talking about humans and humans feeling ugly, people's knee-jerk reaction is to say like, someone's in the ugly bin, right? This just sounds like so harsh and direct, but I think the sugarcoating is getting us further away from where we actually need to go. So someone's in the ugly bin, right? They're like, hey, I'm an ugly bin. I'm not having a good time. I feel ugly. I'm ugly. And like people are treating me like I'm ugly because I'm in this bin that is real, but we just don't like to talk about it. Going to someone in that bin and being like, you're not ugly, you're beautiful. completely ignores all of the like, hey everyone, I don't hate this bucket because like, you know, I wanted a cute little like bang. I hate this bucket because I'm being treated horribly. I'm not seen as a person. I'm devalued. I'm this and the other. I'm not happy. No one wants all this kind of stuff, right? And so instead of focusing on, wait, how do we treat people that are in that bucket as a society? We go, no one's in that bucket. The bucket's empty. Because if someone was in that bucket, they'd want to kill themselves. You know, like, it's like everyone's getting mad at her for calling herself ugly and being like, how dare you? How could you? That's so low. But no one's like, okay, so let's say that she calls herself beautiful. Great. When are we going to address the fact that she feels alienated in society and alone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is it. Like, that's the problem. And it's so hard because we know we have a scale. We know we have the hottest person you've ever seen and like the last person you'd ever touch in our personal minds, right? We know this. So it just creates some crazy gaslighting when someone's like, hey guys, I'm expressing discomfort or unhappiness with where I feel I am in this line. And we just don't get anywhere where people are like, shut up, you're not. Like, it's like, wait, what? Like, wait, hold up. Like, I agree. No one should be down on themselves. No one should beat themselves up. But, like, we are so much more comfortable with someone being like, I'm a horrible person than being like, I'm ugly. Like society cannot handle when people call themselves ugly, yet, like, everything in society reinforces whether people feel ugly or pretty in every little piece of pocket of society. It's crazy.
So I've been seeing a lot of people have this "am I ugly" conversation, especially Black women, and I wanted to give my 2 cents. First and foremost, if you are someone that believes that you're ugly or unattractive or conventionally unattractive or unconventionally attractive, however you want to use those words, and you believe that your life experiences have been negative due to how you look, I am here to tell you that you're probably right. Unfortunately, in this capitalistic patriarch society that we live in, people are taught to devalue people and to shame and embarrass people that they feel are unattractive. And so I just want to affirm to you that your lived experiences are not wrong. And these are not things that you can simply, positive think your way out or love yourself your way out. You can have all of those things. You can love yourself. You can be confident. You can have positive thinkings, and you will still have some of those negative experiences. They may be reduced, but they will still happen. However, to offer you some hope, just because you feel like you're ugly, unattractive, whatever, it doesn't mean that you can't have a fulfilling life. It doesn't mean that you can't find love. It doesn't mean that you can't get the things that you desire. Although society tries to convince you that your appearance is the greatest asset that you will have as a woman, it's actually not true. And you can still live a very fulfilling life despite you accepting that you don't meet society's beauty standards. Now, with that being said, if you want to have a glow up, if you want to, lose weight, whatever you want to do to make your life easier, or you believe will give you an easier existence, go for it. Do whatever you think is best. However, in addition to those things, I believe it is also worth exerting some of that energy into redefining the things that make you happy, if that makes any sense. In other words, the things that society tells women should make them happy, or the things that society tells women that they should desire, always keep in mind that those things were designed with the idea of you being on the bottom. And so no matter how much you try to go for it, it's never going to, how do I say it? It's going to be harder for you because it was designed to crush you while giving someone else advancement, if that makes any sense. And so you can do all the things. You can, change your body, change your appearance. However, what I have found that has made me the most happiest was redefining what I consider to be happy. That would make me happy. And then also accepting that I still have access to love, marriage, kids, and fulfilling life despite me not meeting society's beauty standards. I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments.
The worst person you can ever have beef with, I'm sorry to say this is going to sound mean, but is with someone who is ugly, whether it be a man or a woman. And the reason why this is so true is because they will basically use you to stroke their ego and help with their self-esteem. The beef could stem from something so minor, and they will hold on to that and make it seem like it's so serious just to have a reason to beef with you. No matter how much you ignore them, even if you didn't, even if it's not premeditated to ignore them and you just forget about them, they will force you to pay attention to them. They will force beef on you. They will force it. They have no shame at all. Beefing with an ugly person and beefing with someone who actually looks good is very different. They will stalk you from their real page after you block their real page. If they have a business page, they will stalk you from that. And then after you block that, they will make thousands of fake pages. They will try to convince you and everybody else that you have so much in common and that y'all are so much alike when there's no similarities whatsoever. They will put so much time and effort with trying to keep up with what you're doing and watching you. They'll even probably try to look like you, turn themselves into you, just to, again, make it seem like you two have so much in common. And all of this is just because they find you so attractive and they don't have many friends who look like you. And again, this is all to boost their ego and help with their self-esteem. They become very attached and obsessed with your beauty. Any little thing you talk about, they make it about them. So if you make a video on here saying something like, you know what, I don't like popcorn. I don't like how it gets stuck in my teeth. They will then make a video or just talk about you to somebody and say, oh, you see how she's talking about how she don't like popcorn, being negative. That's why I don't like her. Da, da, da. They will make it seem like they know you, and not usually, but sometimes you'll be for the ugly person is somebody you don't really know. They will make it seem like they known you for years. They will make it seem like, they know your situation. They will make it seem like they know they just would make it seem like you have all this history and you don't. You two will be the total opposite, and they will force you to believe that you are the same, and there's nothing the same about you two. You can be a Beyonce or a Mariah Carey, and they'll be like a Keisha Cole, trying to convince you and others that you're the same and you should be doing the same things. But all in all, they'll hate you because they're so into you, and they will hate you for being so different from them and not doing the same things they do. So just because of that, it'll keep them watching you for almost the rest of their lives when you're basically not paying any attention to them. Oh yeah, and before I go, they basically believe that if they beef with you, it'll make them feel like they are just as pretty, are doing just as good as you. And they feel like it'll convince people around them that they are just as pretty as you, are doing just as good as you. That's why they're so adamant about beefing with you.